Efecto Cascada.
Un podcast de Explore.
All right, so dear Explorators, welcome once again to Efecto Cascada. This is a podcast where we dive into the forefront of innovation, share insights from entrepreneurs, and uncover cascade funding opportunities. As you all know already, in each episode we try to explore the latest trends into the digital stream, the arts, and transformative technologies that are shaping our future. So broadcasting from Pamplona, Spain, we strive to reach a global audience starting from European Union projects. All right, so today's episode marks a second part of our special episode on Hungry EcoCities, which we recorded last year with Lydia. And if you haven't checked it yet, please just go ahead and watch it before this one. But there we dove deep into how arts and technology can redesign our food systems. So the Hungry EcoCities initiative has empowered artists across Europe to question, challenge, and prototype new food futures. Today, we're joined by incredible artists whose projects emerged from the first round of residencies. Right, so Katya Bryskina Nataly Khadziakova, welcome. They are the creators of Future Protein, which explores mussels as a climate-positive protein and introduces a speculative platform called Mussel ID. Then there's Bernat Cuni with us, the mind behind What the Food, a design-driven prototype to help people critically engage with the food system through storytelling and AI. And last but not least, there's Jeroen van der Most, creator of the Vegetable Vendetta, AI-powered art that empowers festivals with the persuasive tools of global brands. So welcome everyone to Efecto Cascada. How are you?
Oh, good. Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
thank you very much for coming to the podcast. Would you like to briefly introduce yourselves to the audience?
I'm a studio, and it's a collaborative project between two of us. And I'm Katya Bryskina. I'm an artist and a speculative architect, and I'm focused on nature and technology, in particular natural intelligence, and bringing it together in an installation form, different design project, and platform design that all takes all kind of like physical and digital forms.
And I'm Nataly Khadziakova, and as Katya said, I co-founded with her this collaborative project, my studio. And I'm also an architect, designer, artist, and I'm based in Poland. And I love maps and master plans, and also new technologies, computational design, new methods in design and architecture, and how this can lead us to some new future and new design decisions.
Okay, that's me now, no? Hi, everybody. Nice to be here. This is Bernat Cuni, online found as Cuni Code. And I'm an artist from Barcelona working with emerging technologies, trying to understand their role in a capitalist-driven society. I'm using them and abusing them for creative outputs.
So and I'm artist Jeroen van der Most, and I'm artist also working with new technologies, especially also artificial intelligence, and exploring all sorts of new, more interesting, more beautiful use cases of technology, and have a special affinity with potatoes and broccoli. So that's why I'm here also. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be seeing that further on. All right, so welcome everybody. Let me tell you, I'm very honored to have you all here. Very interesting and complete profiles. All right, let's dig into you, artists, and your origins. So Katya and Nataly, could you tell us what drew you to explore the food system through art and technology?
I think it's such a big topic that is a fundamental for everybody. There are a lot of things that can be dropped, but not the food, because it will be always there. And I think desire to bring transparency and to understand it better, and also to envision it for the future scenarios, how it can be more sustainable, it can be better for both people and the planet, and also with advancement in technology, how we can change it and make it available for more people, like a better quality of food without destroying the planet.
Yeah. And I also would like to say that we always discuss with Katya that through design and art, the innovation can arise, because the existing industry, it won't change, because there is no point of changing because it works. So as artists and designers, we are always looking into some new decisions, improvements, and innovations. That's why actually this combination of food system, art, technology, and innovation, it was very attractive to us when we saw this open call.
So it's great that you find out about this open call, because it feels like it's a perfect fit for you. All right, so Bernat, you've moved from product design to research-based, tech-driven design. What brought you as well to Hungry EcoCities, and what did you hope to explore here?
Yeah, that's correct. My background is in making things, tangible things. I come from a product design background, and I learned to the arts ecosystem as a place to experiment and prototype, and shifting the focus from the market to culture, let's say. So the Hungry EcoCities triggered my curiosity, as I have a hate-love relationship with food. I like to eat, but I dislike to shop, and because when I'm at the supermarket, I feel that I feel lost inside a giant advertising of niceness. No? So everything seems perfect. But I know that the food system falls from many touch points. So I wanted to do something about it. And since I don't know how to farm yet, I wanted to use my skills in technology and design, and also an art perspective to find a way to do something about it.
Yeah, honestly, it's awesome. We'll be seeing images farther on, and when you dig more into your project about their storytelling and so on. But great way to bring it onto today's society. And Jeroen, so you've worked with AI for years. What inspired you, or what would you say inspired you to apply this experience onto the food system?
Yeah, it was of course a very big topic, like the food system. So this was at the beginning also really an exploration of what's the most interesting sort of perspectives that you could take using artificial intelligence. And what I eventually ended up with was that it was most interesting that we could use artificial intelligence to create a sort of power break, to break open the power of marketing that's currently in the hands of really big global corporations in the food sector. So all sorts of big brands that sell us like really overly processed foods and foods with far too much sugar. And the interesting aspect or uninteresting aspect of like the latest developments also in the image and video generation in artificial intelligence is that you can sort of start to reach that quality of these really expensive, powerful marketing campaigns of these big companies and put that in the hands of like really much smaller players like local producers of healthy food, for example. So that was the kind of intake, that eventually, that the trajectory eventually went into, and ended up in a result in which you use artificial intelligence to create all sorts of that sort of marketing content for really healthy vegetables.
So Katya and Nataly, could you tell us what is Future Protein and how does Muscle ID reimagine aquaculture as both sustainable food source and a carbon capture tool?
I think like if you really simplify it, like Future Protein is a methodology that can be applied, we tested it on mussels, but can be applied to any food where we can trace all connections. And that's why it's result in a Muscle ID, in a formula that makes its connection, like how much water was filtered, how much nitrogen was collected, how much biodiversity is very open one with like carbon captured, and then how much food protein was produced, and how much waste management, like waste materials, it's like biomaterials made from shells, can be used in the future. So this formula shows all connections when you have a meal, what actually behind your meal. And also like Muscle ID has an interface to make this information available, like it's a website that you can play, like you can generate like a bigger mussel farm, smaller mussel farm, and you will see what is the future like how much protein will be produced, how much material. So it basically connects all elements together and make it available, like to see it through the formula, how it works and interface.
So I also wanted to add a bit that we wanted to play around the speculation a bit here, artistic speculation on adapt instead of, reaction with the global warming and the sea level rising. So we wanted to say that what if instead of potato field, you will have a mussel field in 50 or 100 years? Like, how should we adapt to that? And we were playing with the prototype as such that you can build your farm. Currently it works that you can only occupy the existing sea waters, but then we wanted to add a function to play if what happens next and how you could expand your mussel farm and what impact on the planet it will have and what kind of meal you will have, because we also need to feed people in the future, more people probably, as scientists say. And mussels are a really great food source in vitamins, in protein, like etc. So it's like a solution probably, but also a speculation, of course, a lot of speculation. But we didn't want to make it scary. We wanted to make it playful and also to say like, why not we just accept this and we try to adapt and play with this and try to combine everything into one formula, which we called Mussel ID.
Yeah, and how this like crazy amount of data that's like that we talked to like a few scientists and they were saying that nobody communicates it to people, how it's actually make it all available and not overcomplicated, more like a playful, as Nataly said, and implement it in our culture, because like without motivating people to start eating like what we believe like a good protein, there's no change will be happen. So we need kind of to bring people on board, like to people be interested in.
Also, we wanted to think about the rituals, the adaptation, how recipes could change, and I think this was the most attractive, for me at least, part of the project, where we were doing the food sharing events and we were trying to introduce mussels to the current meals and replacing meat with mussels, for example. So it was a kind of really interactive project to work with the audience and to see how we can communicate this with the people.
Yeah, I see. Honestly, I love it. How well there's this circularity. You're teaching society. You're making us rethink about food systems and, as you were saying, even recipes. And you're also allowing us to learn from the amount of data that you've enabled in the in the system. We'll be seeing the reactions from the experimentation with users afterwards. Awesome. All right, Bernat, let's go with you. What's the idea behind What the Food? By the way, great name. Yeah. How does it act as a tool to visualize and understand the complexity of our food systems?
Yeah, we can say that What the Food is a tool or a system to turn curiosity into action. So from one side, you can use the camera lens to point to a produce, like a fruit, vegetable, or anything, and it shows how that food morphs into a glitch of the food system. No, so being labor exploitation or the use of pesticides or any other. No, and from there you can see things that you can do about that subject. No? So and it's very personalized, hyper-localized on your place, the place that you just took the photo. No? So it tells you if there's a local association working on that issue, or if there's a specific regulation targeting that problematic, so you can take action. And
it's great.
Yeah, and also it displays. There's also another kind of part of the whole tool that is an exploration map with all these things that different people have explored or discovered.
Right, Jeroen. So Vegetable Vendetta. You're transforming food logistics and AI storytelling into provocative visual pieces. What's your goal right, with creating these experiences?
Wow, what's my goal with creating these experiences? Well, on the one hand, it is a sort of tool. So it's an experimentation with creating a tool which actually could be used by like these local smaller producers of healthy food to create high level, high quality marketing content for their own product. So that's sort of one sort of perspective or goal that's within it. Outside of that, in like a more general or like a more broader goal is also that to raise discussion about the use of technologies like artificial intelligence, and also to raise discussion about like, hey, what exactly is our media, maximalized all the media that we have and all the advertising that we have in our society, and what sort of products are actually promoted with all that content, with all that effort, and with all that money. And couldn't there be also other ways of approaching that? Let me put it that way. Yeah, that's sort of the goals that are within this project.
Right, let's move on to the development and impact now. So let's talk about, well, the making of these prototypes and the impact of it. So Katya and Nataly, you were saying, well, your work spans here from the parametric design and AI. How did, for you, the tech and the ecological narrative come together within your project, Muscle ID?
So we really like merging all these technologies together to see what can come next. And as we say on our website, for example, we are looking for a third entity. Yeah. So it's why third? It's just because it's something that hasn't happened yet. And what we think is that when we use the combination of the computational design of AI and, I don't know, a bit of our magic, let's say. So we can something which we haven't expected even, probably. And this comes to new solutions, and it also expands the imagination of us and probably other people who will see the projects.
And I think it's also like how going back to a question, like how we're going, like people experience it, like visitors, like or somebody who engaged with it, because it's very hard to make those sometimes abstract and big concepts very tangible for people. And for example, we played with like biomaterials and generating like natural mimicry, like natural aesthetics with AI, and then 3D printing it. And some people were giving us a feedback that it looks like it came from nature, where it's completely artificial, synthetic like element, and kind of doing the like giving this reference. What is the materiality? That this is mussel shells that came from water. Like, I don't know, there is a certain step that embedded in this design process. The same with like interface, or like all of those like steps to how do we interact with this, like how do we touch with this like where is like the bridge of technology to like nature, to linking in the much bigger like a complex like a system.
And also to bring it to today's society, which we are so immersed into technology, and maybe just make you stop and rethink, no, what's going on overall your projects. Right, Bernat. So your project, as we were saying, blends storytelling, AI, and human interaction. What feedback have you received, and how do people react, no, to seeing the glitch you were talking about before?
Well, the glitches of the food system is a complex subject, right? Because we can live with the anxiety of being part of an abusive or unjust system, and that's normal. So it happens in many facets of our life that we are in conflict of what we believe or what is happening. So it was very important to not give it a rant-like tone, no, and be a project or intervention that is optimistic and proactive. So the feedback I got is that people like it. People like to point their cameras to things and see things happening with their photos. And I use this hack to tell my story, to build a system that is based on that in this very simple interaction of all this entry point.
All right, and now Jeroen. So I'm quite curious here because Vegetable Vendetta, it's playful but political as well, kind of. What has been for you the public reaction so far? And do people like laugh first and then reflect on the message? What did you get?
Yeah, so I'm quite happy with the response. It's indeed also a quite layered project in the sense that it triggers different sorts of reactions. So initially the first reaction of like if you present it to a crowd, and it's a really engaging and also funny reaction, but it's also something that triggers the attention of like media or like conferences interested in more like the sort of marketing or technology aspect of it. So it's quite diverse and different how the reactions are, but it's all combined. I'm quite happy with what has happened up to now.
Yeah, it's precisely, I imagine what you meant at first with the whole project. But as you were saying, it could be applied to marketing as well. And it's the perfect way to just catch the audience attention.
Yeah, and it's also very much, as Katya said, I think it's really about making stuff concrete also. So it's still, even today, I think like AI and what you can do with AI, that's still, it's quite a lot of people still in the dark. Let me put it that way. So this shows you the possibilities and also like the really latest possibilities. Sometimes even the qualities of these commercial content is sometimes just so high that it's like, whoa, it's really, I mean, where are we going to end up in a couple of years, But yeah.
Sorry, I just remember on some intermediate presentation, you were just showing the iterations of AI regeneration itself, and it's getting really, really crazy at some point.
So smart.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
very true. Yeah, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
There is actually something very interesting that I noticed like recently traveling, that depends on the country. There are different amount of AI content you get like as an advertisement, that some country, like, I don't know, I'm based in London, and in London it's like I don't see it so much, but I think where there may be investment like less, like I don't know, like invest like in terms of marketing, there are some countries where like everything is AI images, and you just see like, I don't know, it's somebody is shopping, somebody is this, and you're like,
Wow.
so it's
That's
almost real.
interesting. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to, let's say, broader reflections. So Hungry EcoCities, it's all about, well, reclaiming the narrative around food through art and technology. So this one's to all. What do you believe it's the biggest misconception that people have about our food systems?
If I'll start, like for me, it's transparency, that we never know where the food is coming from. So we basically have no idea, even if it's labeled like this country, it can travel already 5 or 6 countries before it was sold to somebody else. And even like this story, like I saw like an artist who was like talking about this, it's been for like a decade, it's still not there yet. People still not aware like that this is the thing. And I think, yeah, it goes at transparency in all, like in one case where it was produced, how it was produced, that there is no like smart labeling still there, but also what the impact on the environment. So yeah, basically we know very little about what we're eating, and not just for our bodies, but also for like other like species bodies, like kind of around us. So it's like, and the environment. And yeah, for me, it's like the biggest misconception was that we know so little.
Yeah, I also remember, like for me, it was again about the landscape, and that we usually don't know where this food comes from. And I think this is what we were trying to do in the future protein presentations and projects. We were trying to bring people back to the landscape where this food, like where the mussels were grown. Because like I remember even in my childhood, I was going to my summer house to my grandparents, and they were growing their food. We were, picking those tomatoes and cucumbers, and we're eating them right away from the soil, let's say. And today, I don't know, for my kids, for example, they don't have, like, they still can have this experience, but it needs to be really, modeled for them, because it's not that usual even today, and it's just one generation. So I think with the new technologies, with all, emergent technology that we have today, we can try to, at least bring the attention or the interest of people of where this came from, where is the landscape, and what is the connection to the landscape where this food came from.
For me, I would say that Doing this project or doing the research for this project, one realization is that it doesn't exist a food system as such. No, so it's mainly a network of stakeholders and infrastructures that they are not very well connected. No, everybody is doing their part as best as they can, but then when connect to other parts of the food chain, there's many weak links. But I guess that the biggest misconception is that the companies in the food system care for us, no? That they do this actually to feed us, and I think that's wrong. And we need to care for ourselves, and that's why it's good to get together and find solutions collectively, because we are a system, we are a society.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit in line with that, I guess, also. But I think like one of the big misconceptions, or at least what you don't really think about if you're not really active around some kind of projects like this or something, is just, yeah, that there is a vast like industrial artificial complex just producing the food, you know. So this was also in the beginning of this trajectory that we went to the farms, etc., to where the food is produced. That's just really, you sort of have this sort of slightly romantic image still about how food is made, etc. And then you see that's all very, it's like a factory. And then if you dive into it, of course, you start to realize increasingly that all these products are just marketed very heavy, and it's very money dependent and profit dependent, just what's happening in the food system, etc., etc. So I don't know, that's just, you know that beforehand, but it's not that you really realize that. If you dive into that, that's really like the realization, or what you start to think is actually.
I want to add also one thing. I remember we were doing the mussel foraging event, and this power that you feel when you can forage your own food, because we were picking up oysters from the beach and we were opening them ourselves.
Oh, wow.
And this is a really moment like every person who was there, they never opened a mussel themselves until that moment. And every person felt this, like, I feel so powerful now. I can feel like I can feed myself.
And very difficult to do that.
It's difficult, but I think also oysters, because they're famous as like quite expensive, fancy food, and then you come to like to the beach, it's just like everywhere. They're like, it's unbelievable. You just like can take as many kilograms like as you want, and it's like the feeling of this when you look in completely different. It's not even like a forest. You look in a new ecosystem.
Yeah.
And you just like start seeing them, and you're like, oh, it's so easy to pick up.
So they want to to make us think that we cannot feed ourselves, but we can.
Yeah, we just have to be smarter than the system. And it's crazy. You were saying oysters are always like associated to just fancy product. So the fact that you went to the beach and collect kilograms of it, like, oh. But yeah, I agree with you also, Natalie. You were saying that perhaps we should include this as another matter or class or signature of our students in schools, and that way, perhaps with education, we could be more involved with what we are eating and the whole food chain here. All right, let's switch on to then future pathways and what's next for your projects. So in case of Mussel ID, what's next, and what's the ultimate vision? What are you thinking? Are you looking to maybe partner with aquaculture companies or scale it?
Actually, we were looking at it in the first months after the finishing the Hungry EcoCities residency, because the project basically is much longer than Hungry EcoCities residency. It started, I think, like before, and it started from the collaboration with the mussel farm in Italy, and when they approached us and they were like looking for the artist who can innovate their something about mussels, we were really puzzled actually, because we didn't know what to do with mussels. Like we were like, what? We do innovative materials, like maybe shells then.
Yeah.
But it's really intriguing how it expanded into something that we were so attached to, and we were working with mussels. And then after, I think, I don't know, some time, more than a year, definitely, we came back to the farm and said, like, we have this open call, like we want this and we want to continue with mussels. So, and we partner with you. So we were actually going to the mussel farm during the residency. But yeah, so with the future, so I think there were so many things that we explored. It was so broad because we just wanted to explore everything about mussels and how we can artistically approach this. And now we have lots of different directions which we can go. And I think we just don't want to focus on something like just one direction. For example, I don't know, to partner with a company and to continue just working on the tool, just, let's say. Yeah, so we still continue working on the materiality things and then on the exploration of the muscle. So it's just going, but I wouldn't say that I can say about any concrete plans, let's say. I don't know if Katya wants to add.
Yeah, I think like there are so many like those building blocks in this project, and all of them like look very attractive, like in terms of like developing more formula like interface, because then maybe you can look at the beef, or maybe you look like, I don't know, at potatoes, like whatever is like you can use this system for. So it's a methodology that can be applied out of like mussels. It can go anywhere. Of course, like working with biomaterials and implementing biomaterials, it's like another knowledge and digital fabrication like application. And what we really, I think both with Nataly enjoyed adaptive rituals. That's kind of like different recipes, like how do we implement it in like our culture, or like this going to look for like oysters. It's all kind of those elements that we can implement in our lifestyle and shift. Yeah, so it's like really like multiple directions. And from if I remember correctly, from like Hungry EcoCities, we were just one application who was like a call about agriculture and like food, and we were just one who said like, oh, but we actually want to look in aquaculture and what's going on in our huge neighbor that we don't look so much. And I think, yeah, this curiosity just stays. It's like there are so many other projects can arise from this methodology.
Thank you for being so creative and bringing this input into our worlds and ways of rethinking. Right, let's go with Bernat. So are you exploring any partnerships to implement WTFood and beyond this prototyping now?
Yes, I see WTFood as a tool for engaging with communities and associations to bring their point across to different audiences. No? So, and also since the project is highly visual, the part of this kind of magic lens, it's easy to make it exhibitable. So the residency helped to build the prototype, the technical part of the story. And now the plan is to run workshops with organizations to explore the food system, paired with an exhibition or a way to show the results. But I see it more of a contained tool, so it's not a tool for open like an app to download. But I think it needs to come in a context, in a cultural context, with a message, with something to talk about it, and then share it. That's how I see it.
Yeah, more than a tool, more like a philosophy or way of seeing the matter here, right? All right, and Jeroen, with Vegetable Vendetta, do you think it'll go on tour? Meaning, do you have any future exhibitions planned or any ways of showing off?
Yeah, definitely. So we're exploring with quite some directions with like the project. So there's one trajectory in which they're actually using it or implementing the ideas in like a concrete advertising campaign for this tomato producer. But my own focus was more or less on like exhibitions in which we explore like the core concept is always basically the same. So this is always based on this idea, like showing how we can use AI to innovate and break open marketing and raise discussion about, okay, what's our advertising aimed at? And this can be in an interactive installation in which you use like you put a potato under a camera and it will create content for you on the spot AI, or represent like the end result of that. And that's what we're experimenting with in all sorts of like exhibitions. So we currently have one running in Estonia where you can do that with the installation. It's actually only in my exhibitions I mainly started to use potatoes because broccoli started to smell after a couple of hours. So potatoes will will last for like a good potato can last for 4 to 6 weeks in an installation.
Oh,
And
God.
we're exploring different aspects. So like in Estonia, it's a really cool exhibition because that's a pop art museum. So that's really like an interesting exploration of an artistic direction because they have like, the pop art in which all sorts of soup cans, etc. from the past became art. And this is sort of like an exploration. Okay, can the food itself be some sort of like the new artist, like the potato that's creating art with AI? But there's also more like we're doing one in Beijing in 2 weeks and in the Green Park View Museum, 2 events. And that's more about the philosophical sort of exploration of the ideas on sustainability and the role of technology. And we're doing one in Paris in 3 weeks. And that's really about technology. So that's at a conference by NVIDIA. And that's really about showing the latest in artificial intelligence and the capabilities also of what's possible. And again, also criticizing our marketing. And then eventually we also have one planned in the north of the Netherlands. And that's also a cool one because that's it's in this summer, because that's actually in farmland in the north of the Netherlands where they actually grow the potatoes. So that's also really cool to have and it's going to be like a really contemporary art-like exhibition. Yeah.
Yeah, huge fan of potatoes. I love how, as you were saying, there's also endless possibilities of exhibiting your art here, and you're going beyond the fourth screen, someone would say, but also going to that new philosophy merged with technology. So yeah. All right, and this one's for all. What would your dream scenario for future of food tech and storytelling be?
I think it's a lot of different scenarios that we're testing. That some of them will be implemented because we basically, as I think artists evaluated, this one is maybe a bit too dark. This may be a bit too this has hope. This is so that the different aspects of it will be implemented, and as much as possible, the good ones that because we are sometimes questioning the infrastructure in full. As much as we can take where there's a lot of players, was Bernat was saying, they play separately and they don't ask those questions. So I think, revisiting the infrastructure, revisiting what's going on, asking questions and hopefully implementing some of these solutions. Because empowering smaller producers and farmers, it's just it's amazing because in terms of younger people say oh, this is AI, but sometimes they're actually farmers, people who actually do the work, they can't even say this is AI and this is not. It's being very confusing as it's a new technology. So opening this conversation and empowering people and questioning and implementing those solutions and better scenarios
Yeah, I totally agree with Katya actually, because I also think that some of the innovations, they just shouldn't be executed. But some of them are really good and they are slowly merging into our usual habits. So yeah, it's just good to have those new ideas that we can test basically as a society. But yeah, and also I just personally want to to experience this future of the mussel farm where we can sit on water on the mussel farm, eating the mussels that were just picked up from behind of this restaurant. So yeah, it's just some of the futures that we designed with Katya and we just drew them. They're so nice that I still really want to experience them some way in the future.
What is it like to live on the water? What is it like to build our community? Not about I don't know, agriculture, but around aquaculture. That's you pick everything, you collect it, you eat it. It's it's completely different experience, because we had a lot of discussions in terms of maybe at some point we'll be visiting aquacultures like equally that we're visiting parks now, like, or we're going for a walk in the fields, that we'll be like traveling and just walking through those kind of different landscapes that we can open up for people and invite them to be there.
You can go and pick strawberries, for example, but you just can't go to Mussel Farm because it's a restriction zone. You just can't go be like there. But probably we will.
Would like to be near you if an apocalypse comes. That way, I'm sure we'll be covered. Right? How about you, Jeroen and Bernat?
Yeah, I mean it's really like exciting on the one hand, but also really unpredictable future. So it's really, you know, these all sorts of like the democratization that AI is enabling, or this giving power to everyone to create all sorts of like brilliant content. Always, of course, has also another side that you could put power in the hands of people who are just not willing. Don't have to have very good intentions, etc. So it's really, you know, it's really unpredictable, and that's fascinating at the same time. Around how is this going to play out? But this is also like the time that we have to experiment, I guess, and that's also what all these art projects are about. Also, I guess, with what are then the right use cases to the right ways to use technologies like this, etc. Yeah. So it's really, now that plays out, I don't know, but it's really fascinating.
For me, in my future dream scenario of food and technology, I guess the dream would be have a system where quality food is affordable and accessible. It's a bit basic wish, but we still haven't got there. No? So there's a lot of innovations and a lot of improvements. But I feel that sometimes they go in different directions. You know? So they are either to open new markets with better margins, or all these engineering and list of technologies to make the perfect McDonald's tomato that is built for efficiency. You know? It's not built for taste. It's not built for feeding people, but it's just built for having the perfect slice. That is questionable if we actually need that. So there's a lot of long things related to food that we need before McDonald's having the perfect circular tomato. No? So I would say that all this technological innovation around food, it can be shaped to best practices, because technology is there, solutions are there, but just need to focus, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. And also, just adding a comment to what you just said, it feels like technology is looking always for perfectionism, same as that McDonald's tomato slice. While honestly, if you grab this tomato from your father's garden, it's going to taste way better and it's way more healthy. So yeah, let's hope that, hopefully, let's reshape the path of this technology evolution onto a better world and affordable one. Completely agree.
Yeah, I guess that's really a danger of artificial intelligence as well. So if you don't strive to start to use it in like newer, more interesting ways, but purely as something to just make a more efficient product, more efficiently, all sorts of really cheesy, bad, advertising content in the same way as we always did. Yeah, that's like the really wrong path that just will lead to to very bad things. But I think if you strive to start to experiment with giving all sorts of new purposes and really new forms of content, there it can be really interesting.
All right, so this brings us to the end of this section. Not sure if would you like to perhaps give a final message or your experience overall with Hungry EcoCities? Just on a quick line.
I think it was a great project and great team, and I would love to special thanks Leah and Rodolfo for dreaming of it and making this real, because it was I think it was really nice to work with the whole team of people, for experts and the artist, and I think that's why the projects were also so successful, because it was a really, really warm moment to work.
Yeah, I would completely agree that it just was an amazing experience. And also, in one case, it was very warm and friendly, and at the same time, it was conceptually challenging because there were a lot of questions, discussions, like roundtables. It's like, and our project with Natalie changed so much. Like at one case, it's evolved in something that's in one thing we applied with a direction, but then the way it was developed through the iterations, through the feedback, through like working with all consortium, it was just like it won't be the same if it will be just us. So it was amazing, like chance and support, a lot of support for like us.
Yeah, many thanks to the experts as well. Like they helped us so much. That's true.
Yeah, I think it was a very good excuse to deep dive into this subject for this. I think it was 6 months, 9 months, 6 or 10 months that we had the chance, and it was very research focused, at least on my part, with this, talking to experts and building all this knowledge base that we wanted to work about, but because we had this final tangible thing that we had to produce, which was this digital prototype, that was also a way to funnel all this. But it was it was a very good experience for me, having the time and brain space to focus in one subject as complex as the food system. That was very good.
Yeah, I agree to a very large extent what's already been said. Now, but for me, it also was really like, of course, there were many parties involved also with my project, so that had its challenges, but it was also really, I mean, in the end, the proof is here now that the concept that we eventually got into is really strong, and it's still continuing and growing today, I guess. So yeah, I'm really happy with the opportunity to do this, and also the result that we eventually got into. So yeah.
All right, so now let's move on to the last section of the podcast, which is this little game and little tradition that we have. And let's say it's like a quick fire round of questions. So first I'm gonna raise a question from the last guest, which any of you can answer, or everyone, however you feel like. And afterwards, you'll be the ones with the ball in your hands, and you can raise a question to the next one, offer the audience a piece of advice and a fun fact. All right, so your question comes from Fridolin Wild. He's part of the Karate project, beneficiary from XR to Learn. And his question is, does the metaverse exist when you're not looking? Here I add a little twist, meaning does reality exist when you're not looking? Well, some of us haven't tried the metaverse yet.
Well, I would say, but I'm pretty much into quantum computing as well. Reality exists because we look at it. So it's created by us looking to it. So that's how reality comes into existence.
But also,
so
which
reality
kind of
is
reality?
subjective. Reality is subjective. It's not objective.
Yeah, also, which kind of reality and how many iterations of this reality?
Yeah. So now we can fall into really complex multiple worlds.
Well, I would say that at least the whole infrastructure, the cables, the servers, the processing power, and everything exists. Even if you are not looking, if you have your virtual reality switch off, it's still there. The cables that cross the Atlantic and all these things. So.
All right, different opinions, like it. So that's your turn. Sorry, Natalie, you wanted to say something? Literally, yeah. Different parts of the world as well. So each one of us have their own opinion on it. All right, so what's your question gonna be? Do you have any tips, hacks, or fun facts?
No, I think I have like a fun fact that's like, it's still stayed with me. That's like, we did like with Natalie, let's say more than 2 years like of research into mussels. And our initial like as exploration, when it's like the mussel farm approached us and said it like, we're a very sustainable farm. We don't use any antibiotics and stuff, like we are like really great. Like, wow, didn't know, superfood. And then we researched, like we found out that all mussel farms are sustainable. That's very different from fish. and we still like, it's like, how is it like, we didn't know, nobody knows, like, and it's like all muscles also quite sustainable.
I mean, while doing research, I guess it was a good, I mean, at first was like, oh, we thought we were the only ones, but then you found out that, I mean, it's a good news, right? All mussel farms are sustainable.
Well, I was thinking related to this project, it was a bit surprising for me to know that the Dutch greenhouses, the whole innovation and building all these things was propelled to sell grapes to the UK. So that was the main. They told us this, no, in that museum. So that was a bit like, oh, okay. So it was already market-driven innovation, no. And related to that, also maybe learn from this project. A fun fact is that the original tomatoes, they were the size of grapes. That was the original plant.
Oh, wow.
That was like this 500 years ago. So it has been engineered, cultivated, and made it look like that. But tomatoes were size of grapes.
Like the cherry tomatoes, right?
I think I know the question related to the projects that we had. Maybe the next person will try to explain where his last meal came from.
Any piece of advice for us, Jeroen?
Any piece of any pieces of advice? Be very critical always when using artificial intelligence. Of every output that you get, you have to be very critical of what it is. Is it ethically right or wrong? Is it factual right or wrong? Is it is it beautiful or not? I mean, that's my advice. Reflection. That's my advice. Reflect on the technology. Yeah.
Yeah, don't trust at first, like completely blind. Just give it that human revised part.
I mean, it's really getting into like a higher speed now also, I guess. I mean, at least in the Netherlands, they introduced like in the Google results, now the AI generated output. So now it's basically just like, yeah, I mean, that's just the information source for like 80-90% of the people still, I guess. So and then that's going to be just, or at least at the top, it's just AI generated content now. So it's really,
yeah,
fast tracking or getting into an exponential sort of speed now, I guess, that everybody's going to depend on LLMs, AI systems providing information.
I remembered how one of the artists from the Hungry EcoCities team, he said, like, when I talk to ChatGPT, I sometimes think I already have a son. I don't need one more thing in the world, to always say like, no, tell me more, no, be more specific.
Oh, you could never.
Did you clean your teeth?
That's so good. I think also like based on this, there will be like a question: what is intuition in the times of AI? Because like we become like, this is real, this is not, this is not specific. Like, so it's very your intuitive feeling of like how we navigate through. So the question about like which role intuition plays in the AI development, like AI advancement.
All right, so thank you very much, everyone. This brings us to the end of the episode and this online roundtable that we had on food tech and food systems and Hungry EcoCities. So huge thanks to everyone for coming to the podcast, taking your time, and well, showing us how you're changing the world. And let's hope that this serves as well as a message, and we're way more conscious when taking care of our planets, ourselves, and everything. So thank you so much for showing up, your powerful artistic experimentations, prototypes, and creations. And these are offering us, well, new visions on how we can reclaim transparency as well, imagination. So thank you. This is the end of the episode. Thank you, subscribers as well, splotters, for staying till the very end of the episode. We hope you were inspired, motivated here. And well, don't forget to subscribe. And as you all know, we are online on all streaming platforms, from Spotify, Amazon Podcasts to YouTube, because this is a video podcast. And also I'll be leaving, our speakers' links down below, so you can check them out, as well as their projects. But yeah, thank you so much. Until next time, let's keep innovating all together. Let's stay curious and well-fed. So see you till next time. Bye.